Oh, boy. So Letitia James, she had something happen to her that she's never had happen before, and something she didn't expect to happen. I'm going to play you the audio here in just a minute. She was at an event where she was booed by the firefighters of New York, who then, after they booed her while she was on stage, started chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. And I'm going to play the audio in just a moment. But I want to just say a few things about this, okay, before we play the audio, because you've got to savor the significance of this historic booing and then the Trump, Trump, Trump chant that Letitia James had to deal with. The fire department of New York, even though the America's heroes and 9/11, although most of those guys are probably retired, how many guys are on the job that are from, that era? It's been
probably not many.
Long time.
Of course, that one fireman that just died, that was with George Bush. He was an old guy.
The guy from the
bullhorn. He was like in 60 years old or something.
Yeah, he was old then, on 9/11. But the fire department of New York is historically liberal because it's New York City. And even though, they're the heroes of 9/11 and such. So let me just play this. I've got two clips of it because this was something that happened spontaneously. And I'll play the first one. So Letitia James, she's coming out on stage, and then it happened.
Come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
Oh, yeah, and then the second clip.
It's brutal.
Oh yeah, this is from another angle. This next clip. This is someone took out their cell phone.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And they were to the stage right of Letitia.
Wow.
Today we are making history, swearing in our first African-American woman chaplain.
Okay, then the booing started again.
Nobody gives a damn.
So, and you could see the look on her face. And a lot of people, when this gets processed, will say, oh, she doesn't. She's elected by the state, not the New York. Without the city of New York, you don't win a statewide election like that. And the other thing about it, though, is there. Not only is New York City liberal, the New York City Fire Department is historically liberal.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. Those are union guys. It's for a liberal area like New York City, and to have civil servants like the firefighters booing a Democrat and then chanting a Republican's name.
I tell you,
is historic.
Trump, New York is primed and ready.
Oh yeah,
he can flip that state, and let me tell you, if he flips New York, they're done. There's so many electoral votes, and that has been a blue. That's as blue as California. That has been blue forever.
Oh yeah.
And if he can flip that state, that's like what Reagan accomplished. He needs to do a rally there as soon as possible. He's talked about it, and I'm telling you, I think it would be a slam dunk. Mm-hmm. It's just you got to time it right. But he's on this wave after Super Tuesday, and it really is amazing. It shows you how time changes things so much. And I was thinking about how much has changed in the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so many people in Trump's position would have given up, thrown in the towel. This is a man, giving up is not in his DNA. And he shows you what perseverance can do and how it pays off. Mm-hmm. He's an example of perseverance.
It's amazing.
And look how the tide has turned.
It's amazing. It's a miracle.
Incredible.
And this incident with Letitia James today, New York is in play. It is in play. And
I agree. And I think Trump thinks that too.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. Overall, most Americans do not like this lawfare business. Americans like to be able to trust the justice system.
I agree.
And when people see the justice system being misused for political purposes,
we see it.
It's not just that they don't like it. It's scary, too.
It's scary, yeah.
Because it can be turned against anyone.
Well, that's what Trump always says.
Yeah.
If they do it to me, they'll do it to you.
And in American law, everything is done by legal precedent. They get away with this lawfare with President Trump, and this will become the new normal. Now, I got to tell you, this clip I want to play for you now is very disappointing to me. You know, I don't have a lot of use for Fox News. I don't like Fox News. I don't like the people on Fox News. And I tell people all the time that I would pay zero attention to Fox News, except Steve. Steve Kane, he doesn't use the internet. He gets his news from television and stuff, so he watches it. So, but if it weren't for him, I wouldn't even talk about this stuff unless there's moments, like I'll something will happen on The View. I'll find out about it and get a clip. Or there was an incident with Morning Joe yesterday where he did something really stupid. So I found out about it, saw it on social media, took the clip and played it. But I really have no use for this stuff. But there's a couple of people on Fox I like. By the way, this is not one of the ones I like. I mentioned this morning on the radio, and I got some comments from people who said they don't see what I saw. So I want to throw this out. On Super Tuesday night, we're flipping through all the cable news for results, and we had on the 5, and Jesse Waters has lost so much weight.
He looked awful.
He looks sick.
He looks like 20 pounds thinner.
More. I mean,
he I don't know. Maybe he had a bad flu or the pneumonia, or I don't know, but
he looked weird.
He looked like his head did not belong to his body.
No, it was very strange.
It was like he had a head transplant or a body transplant. It was really weird. He looked really thin and unwell to me. He just didn't look good.
No, it looked like his former mistress that he's currently married to left him, or something. I'm not saying that happened.
So other people don't see it?
I just got a message just a minute ago, and they said, I watched the 5 and I don't see, because maybe you watch it so much, you don't see the transformation. I've not watched Jesse Waters.
That's true. We haven't watched it in a long time. Yeah.
Months, and I was in shock.
Yeah, he didn't look good.
He did not look well. But anyway, there are a couple of people at Fox that I've liked, even though they did all these things. And one of them has been Stuart Varney. He's on Fox Business. Now, I haven't paid attention to Stuart Varney in a long time, and I don't watch Fox Business, but I always liked him. And we used to have him on the radio all the time. Yeah. And I always thought he was all right. Uh-oh. And then he started talking about Trump today. He was involved in a discussion with over Trump debating Biden and things like this. And then he says this.
Okay, Karen, I've got a complaint. I know the campaign wants to win over Nikki Haley's voters, but I don't think you do that with name-calling.
Now, first of all, I don't know about winning over Nikki Haley's voters, because most of her voters are Democrats. So I don't know what Stuart Varney's talking about. And this thing about name-calling, Nikki Haley's been running around for months accusing Trump of causing chaos and such. But let me get back to this. I'm very disappointed in Stuart Varney.
Okay, Karen, I've got a complaint. I know the campaign wants to win over Nikki Haley's voters, but I don't think you do that with name-calling. For example, I take issue with Trump's new nickname for California governor, calling him New Scum.
Okay. Now,
that's a great name.
I think Gavin Newscum is a perfect name, and it's caught on like wildfire already. I like how he says it, New Scum.
This
with that
tells
accent.
Me that Varney is friends with him.
Or
he's taking it very personally.
Or you know what? Or maybe because Stuart Varney, maybe he's fooling us. Maybe he's just being sarcastic. We'll find out. We'll find out. I think New Scum is the perfect name.
I can't believe nobody thought of it sooner.
And I know. And
it's too perfect.
Well, you know what it is? When a genius comes up with something, it sounds so simple. But they're a genius.
Exactly. You're like, well, how come this nobody thought of this before?
Exactly.
It's so obvious.
Yeah, when Trump said Gavin Newscum, that was
love
hilarious.
To know who came up with that. Was it him? Was it Don Jr.? Was it Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene? Somebody. I would love to know where that germinated
I think Trump, because I remember it was one of his rallies a couple weeks ago. I think it just popped in his head while he was speaking.
Right on the fly.
Yeah.
Example. I take issue with Trump's new nickname for California governor, calling him New Scum. I don't think that's a good idea. I object to that kind of language. How about you?
Well, I think that what Governor Gavin Newsom has done to the once great state of California is terrible. You see real scum, real homeless people all over the streets.
Excuse me, are you okay? Are you saying it's okay to bring that kind of language to a presidential campaign? New scum? That's okay?
I think the real problem here, Stu, is the policies of the deranged Democrats from Gavin Newsom to Joe Biden that have destroyed American communities across this country.
You don't agree with me, but I think your campaign has a problem with language like that.
Well, I don't think voters respectfully agree with you either, Stu. If you look at the resounding wins that President Trump has received across the board.
You think you're going to win over Haley voters with language like that? Do you? You win over moderates and women with language like that? Really?
He needs to go back to England.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where, here, listen. New scum is the perfect name for him. He is scum.
So is California.
I remember when our daughter moved to Los Angeles and she was showing me on the iMaps on the iPhone that there's this area in LA in red. And it's where all the homeless live. What do they call that area?
Skid Row.
Yeah, Skid Row. Skid Row. You can see Skid Row on iMaps. Okay?
Yeah, and Emily's not in the city proper. But let's be clear. She's out in the suburbs. So she's not living in the city. We would not let that happen. No. She's in a very safe area east of the city. But she's, she can drive into the city. It's like living in the suburbs outside of Atlanta. She's not in the main city. But what that woman what she was trying to say, but he kept interrupting her, is I would say, Stu, I think people are more concerned with now. You obviously don't have this problem because you're a wealthy Englishman and you probably have a valet. But what people are really concerned about is that they can't put food on the table, that their tax dollars are supporting illegals, and that illegals are killing American citizens. So they're not going to give a damn about this. Is Trump. Trump labels people. This is nothing new. And Stuart knows this. This isn't a new thing. And the fact that he got so upset about it honestly tells me that he is friends with Gavin Newsom.
He must be.
Because he is just taking it way
bizarre.
Too freaking personal.
And, the other thing, we were talking on one of the podcasts a few days ago. I told you about the prostitution on Figueroa Street. I saw it on YouTube, and I pulled up a YouTube video. And it's the middle of the day, and there's prostitutes on every corner.
That was so sad.
And they're like really almost naked. It's like OnlyFans on the street. It's out in the open. So New Scum is the perfect name because of the conditions that he's allowing.
That's what she was about to say.
In California,
that's right. But he interrupted her, and he didn't want her to say that.
And
there's literally a map for feces.
Yeah,
there's an app.
And Ron
DeSantis showed it when he debated Newsom, and in San Francisco, that shows the level of feces. There's needles everywhere. I don't understand why he can't just fix the state. Well, we do know he's all in with the Chinese mob, so clearly they want it to be an S-hole, and he's going along with it.
And the homeless out there, when I was out there a couple months ago visiting our daughter, and we went to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
I'm sure I told you guys this. This was crazy. And there's a guy in the drive-thru, and I thought he was in the drive-thru to take orders because, like here, we've got Chick-fil-A, and you go to Chick-fil-A, and they
walk to your car.
They have workers in the drive-thru that take your order like in person, a person. And I thought this guy was doing that at In-N-Out Burger, the drive-thru. He was a homeless guy wanting to wash your windows for some money.
Yep. And remember, you went to a gas station to go to use the restroom because Emily was still asleep and you didn't want to make noise and wake her up, and you were out getting coffee and stuff, and you went to get gas in her car for her, and you were like, "Oh, I'll go use the restroom and wash my hands." And you asked for the key, and the lady said, "Well, you might not be alone if you go in there
exactly.
right now."
Because she said I haven't checked it yet.
It's a problem.
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, and I told her,
Emily told me, she said, "You don't go out too early to certain places because everybody knows that there's homeless people that are still sleeping." And she's kind of learned how to, acclimate herself to the area, luckily. So she's figured that out pretty quickly.
So Stuart Varney, I'm very disappointed. And I've not listened to him in a long time, but I used to like that guy, and he was really taking that person. Now, what these Democrats do to people is beyond belief. we talk a lot about, of course, this lawfare against Trump. There's lawfare against Mike Lindell. And I just found something out about Ronny Jackson today that I just cannot believe.
I hope he didn't do something bad.
No, what they did to Ronny Jackson.
Okay, because I love him.
Ronny Jackson, just if the name doesn't ring a bell quite yet to you, he's a congressman from Texas. But before that, he was Admiral Ronny Jackson. Yeah. Was the White House physician. He was Trump's doctor.
Right.
He was also Obama's White House doctor. And he was an admiral, a one-star admiral. And he had one of the most epic press conferences at the White House that ever has happened at the White House. In fact, out of all of the press, and I've watched a lot of White House press conferences, Ronny Jackson's press conference at the White House is in the top 10 best press conferences in history, okay, of White House press conferences. And what had happened is the media were just obsessed with Trump's health, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not know this, but President Trump, when you see President Trump, he's wearing body armor. He wears a vest. The suits are Kevlar, and such, and they're bulky, so they make you look a little bigger because you're wearing a vest underneath, and the suits are Kevlar. And they were just obsessed that he had all these health problems. They were fantasizing, the media. So President Trump had his annual physical, and they wanted to see the results, and he's got all these health fantasies of the press. So what President Trump did, which was absolutely amazing, no other president has ever done this. Not only did he release the results of his physical, but he had his Dr. and Admiral Ronny Jackson come out to the press in the White House press briefing room, read the report, and then take questions. And the press were flipping out that it was such a good report. And he answered every question about President Trump's physical and health and everything else. And the press were just fuming with him. And then all of a sudden, you start reading things in the news. He's under investigation, Ronny Jackson, and all this stuff.
That's what they do.
And what he did is he actually retired from the Navy. He'd spent a life in the Navy, retired from the Navy because of the harassment he was getting, because the Democrats were coming back into power. And he ran for Congress, and now he's a congressman from Texas. Well, I learned something that they did to him. And I don't think this is widely known. This is in the Daily Beast, and I don't think very many people know about this because I did not know about this, and this is really, really upsetting. Let me just read this. This is from the Daily Beast. Former White House physician Ronny Jackson was quietly demoted by the Navy in July 2022 after the Pentagon's Inspector General's report said that they substantiated allegations of inappropriate conduct and bullying of staff.
That's what they do.
According to the Washington Post. So what they did, he is a one-star admiral, right? A rear admiral,
so they took
one-star
away
admiral.
Star.
They retired him as a captain. So he's no longer... the thing about
a bunch of a-holes.
The thing about flag ranks, whether you're an admiral or a general, you always are even if you retire, you're still active.
These are vindictive, nasty people.
So when you're a retired general or a retired admiral, you are active for life,
right?
Okay, and also you get a pension, a pretty good pension. So he's lost his special status as an admiral. He's lost his, I'm sure, a boatload of money from his pension that he deserved because captain it's only one rank lower, but that's a big captain and admiral is a big difference. Even though he was a one-star admiral, rear admiral, they used to call those commodores, but I don't think we have commodores anymore. But that's a big deal. And the reason that he was punished, the reason he was demoted, is not any of these things they talk about in this article that I'm not going to go through. It's because he gave Donald Trump a clean bill of health, and he came out and had that press conference, and Jim Acosta and the press felt humiliated because he had a clean bill of health, and
there's
they couldn't do anything about it.
Fragile egos. It's like this in Hollywood too, and I mean, Mira Sorvino wouldn't sleep with Harvey Weinstein. He destroyed her career, even though her father was a famous actor. And this is how Hollywood works. You have a lot of fragile egos, and if you piss off the wrong person, they will make it their life's mission to destroy you and destroy your life. And that's how it is. I'm not saying it's right. These are jerks. They're all liberals. People in Hollywood and the people in Washington that do this kind of stuff. So, well, you know what? I'm sure that bothers him, but he seems like such a cool guy. He knows the real reason behind it, and he's a congressman now. Boy, wouldn't it be fun if Trump chose him as his VP? Well, wouldn't that be a fun pick?
That'd be good. Well, here's the thing about Ronny Jackson.
Love that guy.
Maybe he'll make him Surgeon General.
That would be. I don't think he'd.
Well, I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this though. You're still an admiral to me, Ronny Jackson. But I'd like to see when Trump's got so much to do in his second term. I'd like to see Trump come back in his second term and promote him to admiral. He could do it. He could be commander in chief and make Ronny Jackson an admiral again.
Make him a 2-star admiral.
That's right. Make him an admiral and promote him.
Exactly. Screw those guys.
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
Give him an extra star.
Trump's list is getting longer.
He's got a lot to do.
He's only got 4 years to do it.
He's got a lot to do. Yeah, give him another star. So we have 2-star.
So admiral. Trump's going to do a play-by-play of the State of the Union. I'm assuming it's going to be through his platform, not on TV or right side broadcasting. So if anybody wants to watch that, he'll be analyzing it. And he said he did it last year and giving his comments on that. It'll be interesting. But he has a new ad that came out.
Yeah, I want to play that after the break.
Which is, of course, it's very honest, and it's a good one and very damaging to Biden.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned Mike Lindell earlier. I want to remind you guys that free shipping continues on all items site-wide at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right, free shipping on every item, no matter how large, no matter how small the purchase. Free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at MyPillow.com. On top of the special deal, and you can do this with every item, and you get all the special deals, but there's one I want to tell you guys about because this one's huge. The MyPillow 2-inch mattress topper is less than $100 right now with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. So you get this huge discount on the MyPillow mattress topper. The 2-inch mattress topper is less than $100. It's a great deal. We have a 2-inch mattress topper on our guest bed. I slept on it a couple weeks ago when Kathy was under the weather. I did not even know it was the 2-inch mattress topper until we were making the bed and took all the sheets off. And I was like, wow. People ask me all the time, what about the 2-inch? What about the 2-inch? Well, I hadn't slept on it because we have the 3-inch on our bed.
2 is great. If you can get the 3, it's better, but they're both good.
No, that 2-inch mattress topper is unbelievable. And we have the 3-inch mattress topper, the 2-inch mattress topper, this huge special, less than $100 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Now, the 3-inch mattress topper, and by the way, the 3-inch mattress topper, there's also a special deal on that, as well as the mattress topper 2.0, which is a 3-inch mattress topper. That has the cooling technology. So, yeah. So there are discounts on all the mattress toppers. And
we practice what we preach. We even sent one to Emily in California.
That's right.
As soon as she moved, we sent her a mattress topper. We got one on our bed. So we've bought 3.
That's right.
And they're fantastic. Right. I'm telling you, that's a good investment.
And it is free shipping site-wide with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at MyPillow.com.
Have you dreamed of transforming your old, outdated kitchen into a modern and vibrant one? You can do just that with Cabinet Makeover Pro, located in Miami. And don't worry about a huge price tag for new kitchen cabinets, because Cabinet Makeover Pro specializes in refacing your existing cabinets. They'll bring new life to your kitchen without breaking the bank. The results? A stunning transformation that will make your kitchen look brand new. Cabinet Makeover Pro are experts in breathing new life into your space. Their focus is on renovating and enhancing existing cabinets in kitchens, bathrooms, or any area in need of a facelift. They do everything too, from painting and changing hardware to new doors and handles. They'll give those old cabinets a modern and functional appearance. Cabinet Makeover Pro is committed to quality, attention to detail, and tailoring solutions to your specific needs. Visit their website, CabinetMakeoverPro.com. View their before and after photos. You will be impressed. Ready to transform your kitchen? Schedule your free consultation right now at CabinetMakeoverPro.com or call them directly, 786-805-3531, 786-805-3531. You can also follow them on Instagram at Cabinet Makeover Pro. Cabinet Makeover Pro, experienced, licensed, insured, and turning dreams into stunning kitchen realities. CabinetMakeoverPro.com. Step into an alternate 1948 where geniuses, captains of industry, and crackpots unite in Skyways of Tomorrow, Flight of the Golden Goose, from author Roberto Scarlato. In a quest to create the true car of tomorrow, Preston Tucker and Howard Hughes embark on an epic venture. Little is known of their work, but shadowy figures threaten to derail their efforts. Can they expose the saboteurs, or will they be considered harbingers of a dark future? Find out when you read Skyways of Tomorrow, Flight of the Golden Goose, from author Roberto Scarlato. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Audible, and iTunes. Also visit the author's website, robertoscarlatovoice.com. Skyways of Tomorrow, Flight of the Golden Goose, from author Roberto Scarlato. Order your copy right now. Being organized can be tough. Work, school, kids, holidays. How can you keep everything organized? That's easy with Rainbow's Marketplace on Etsy.com, where life meets organization. With Rainbow's Marketplace on Etsy, you can add a splash of color and functionality to your daily routine. Start with the Kids Meal Planner. It's a visual weekly meal calendar that's designed to make mealtime easy for both parents and kids. You can engage your little ones in meal planning with playful designs and a customizable menu template. You'll foster independence as well as responsibility with the kids' visual schedule. It'll make healthy eating habits a part of their routine. And for your weight loss and fitness journey, Rainbow's Marketplace has you covered with that too, with the 2024 Weight Loss and Fitness Tracker. It comes with a calorie tracker that ensures that you stay on target with your goals. You can build and maintain healthy habits using the Habit Tracker and plan your workouts efficiently with the Digital Workout Planner. And for a spirituality-fulfilling Ramadan experience, make sure to check out the 2024 Ramadan Planner. It's designed to use with good notes on your iPad. Elevate your life with Rainbow's Marketplace on Etsy.com, your go-to destination for unique and functional digital planners. Online at rainbowsmarketplace.etsy.com. Make every moment colorful and organized. Start shopping right now at rainbowsmarketplace.etsy.com. That's rainbowsmarketplace.etsy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So Stormy Daniels is back. And, she's got a new documentary out. And Stormy Daniels is back. They released a trailer, which I'm not going to play for you. It's going to be on Peacock, okay? Stormy Daniels claims she hated the attention she received. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
That's why she went on a stripping tour across America.
Exactly, in a trailer for her new documentary, which also shows her mocking her former lawyer, Michael Avenatti. The Peacock documentary titled Stormy shows her navigating her life after the world learned of her alleged affair with the now Republican President Kennedy. Stormy Daniels, I don't know, it's been about 5 years now, maybe even longer, but a few years ago, she took back her claim that she had sex with Trump and said that it was not true, that it was made up.
Yeah, the press ignored that, but I think someday she will come out and say it
She
again.
did say it, though. She signed a statement saying it didn't happen. Now she's recanted it.
Of course.
And because she can't make money if she recanted it. She can only make money by Trump haters giving her credibility. But she gave a statement and she signed it saying that the affair did not happen. So I think that's when she was being truthful. I never believed the story. I know it's not true, but that story of her recanting, that's very difficult to find. Thankfully, Jack Posobiec tweeted it, and it got a lot of traction because the media didn't want to share that. But I doubt that part's in the documentary.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. So Nicole Wallace, who's just a real beaut, she's on MSNBC.
Ugh, I can't decide who I like less, her or Joy Reid. They're both just so vile.
Nicole Wallace is worse.
I mean, that's a toss-up. I'm gonna have to put this to a poll. Who is the most distasteful, Joy Reid or Nicole Wallace? I think Joy Reid would win, but they're both vile women.
And the thing with Nicole Wallace is, she's a registered Republican. She worked for John McCain.
Give me a break.
And, she's talking about Trump, who's now all but the official nominee.
I have to start with the news today with you, Director Brennan, that some version of...
Now, this is Brennan, the CIA director, who Trump took his security clearance away. So he's got a beef with Trump. He took his security clearance away, which is humiliating.
I have to start with the news today with you, Director Brennan, that some version of our intelligence analysis will, there's a plan for Trump to start getting that while he's under criminal prosecution for mishandling classified documents. Will you explain what this is and what you think is likely to happen?
Okay, now, just to get you up to speed, forgetting that Trump was president before, presidential candidates, when they become the nominee, which he pretty much is right now, they even if they weren't president before, if this was just some guy who was governor of Nebraska, okay, and now all of a sudden he's the front runner, about to get the nomination, they start to give them national security briefings. They don't give them the big presidential one yet, but they start giving them security briefings. And then when they get the nomination, they give them more detailed briefings. And then if they win and they're the president-elect, they start getting the daily briefing. And the reason they do that is there's a lot going on in the world. It's a great big world. And they want them to be informed, briefed, and prepared in case they do become president. Now, President Trump's different because he actually was president of the United States already. Former presidents all have, if they want them, daily security briefings and the presidential daily briefing. So just to have some context here, what's going on. So let's get back to this. So this is Nicole Wallace with Brennan, former CIA director who Trump took his security clearance away.
For mishandling classified documents. Will you explain what this is and what you think is likely to happen?
Yeah, Nicole, it's somewhat surreal that an individual who is under indictment for mishandling classified information is going to be getting classified intelligence briefings. But this traditionally is provided to the candidates for president by the sitting president. And so therefore, I think it makes sense for the Biden administration to offer that to Donald Trump. Now, I'm pretty certain that my former intelligence colleagues will provide briefings that are not going to do any type of damage to sources and methods. In terms of providing information to...
Okay. Now, this is the same BS they did the first time. In the first campaign, even after he won and he was president-elect, MSNBC, which Nicole Wallace is on, they were actually then saying, well, maybe the intelligence community should give him false information. Yeah, that's just what you want to give the president-elect is false information.
These people are... oh, my goodness.
And then Brennan here is saying he is sure that the security briefings Trump gets will not be important, and they will not give him any details.
Whatever.
They'll just let him think he's getting briefed.
Donald Trump that he could misuse. But they will provide analytic overviews and briefings about some of the world's hotspots. Letting Donald Trump know what the assessments are at this point. So I think it's going to be analysis that will be devoid of the sources and methods, the sensitive things that we are most concerned about, the types of things that were in all those documents that he had in the bathroom and other areas in Mar-a-Lago. But I do think it makes sense. Now, it's a question about whether or not Donald Trump will accept the briefings. And I'm sure that if he does accept them, he probably will disparage them as he has disparaged U.S. intelligence officers as well as U.S. intelligence itself for so long over so many years.
Okay.
Did he let the cat out of the bag? Was he not supposed to tell us this, that they actually alter and hide information from Trump? Or, I mean, was that just a moment of honesty from this guy? Now, it sounds like he slipped, and maybe he shouldn't have let that be known.
And one thing he said there is one of the biggest lies told about Trump. He said he kept the classified documents in the bathroom and all over Mar-a-Lago. And they show these boxes, like in the bathroom. They show boxes on the stage and the dining room around Mar-a-Lago. And they keep telling you that these are classified documents. That's not true. Greg Kelly on Newsmax last year did a great piece on this, and I talked about it on the program. The classified documents are only about one half of one of those boxes.
Right.
All that other stuff,
not even.
Less than that. Those boxes like you see in the bathroom, those are like his toiletries. Right? I mean, he was moving back home, and they were like his personal stuff. I can promise you one thing,
Mar-a-Lago, where you have actually been to Mar-a-Lago, is a hell of a lot more secure than Biden's garage, which is like, open and just out for anybody to walk into.
With a junkie, Hunter Biden, doing drugs with all of his friends, with all these classified documents. But the documents that are classified at Mar-a-Lago in question were little less than one half of one of those boxes.
Is this the case that's in Fort Pierce?
Yes.
That's going to go
St.
nowhere.
Lucie County.
That's going to go nowhere. I just retweeted another thing that was on CNN today. The reporter asked a Gold Star family about how they've been treated by Biden.
Oh, yeah.
So this is good.
Okay. I have not heard this yet, so let me play.
I'm on Twitter.
You have been critical of how President Biden has talked about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Tomorrow, he's going to be addressing a lot of global issues, probably in his State of the Union address. What do you want to hear from him about the 2 years ago, what happened to your daughter-in-law?
I want to hear how he's going to strengthen our armed forces and support them and answer our questions and lead to a thorough investigation like they promised so that we can move forward in a positive way and make it better.
President Biden, he's often called the consoler in chief. He does talk to families who've
lost. Oh, really? Like when he was checking his watch when the bodies were being brought back in front of the families
it was nap time.
Yeah, exactly. The consoler in chief. Are you kidding me?
Lost loved ones because of his own experiences. Have you experienced that from him as you've been coping with the death of Nicole?
No.
Have you spoken to him?
No, he has not reached out to our family. We've actually reached out to the White House and have never heard back. We asked to meet with them to kind of understand where their thinking was in calling this a success, and we've not received a response. It's been months. No, that's not been our experience at all.
Sorry to hear that. Chairman McCall, my understanding is that you have a hearing.
Yeah, all right, time to move on from this.
Speaking of Biden,
let me finish with this though, Kathy.
Yeah.
The significance of this story, because we've heard the whole time that he's disrespected Gold Star family.
Yeah.
But what's significant about this is that it's on CNN. And CNN, the Clinton News Network, is very liberal. CNN does not criticize Democrat presidents. They promote Democrat presidents.
I don't think they expected that woman to say that.
They had an idea because they had her. She's been outspoken, and they had her on. And they may not have gotten into it for very long, but they had her on. They knew where it was going, and they know that whole narrative that he's the consoler in chief is just a total falsehood.
Yes.
And CNN has story after story that's negative about a Democrat president is pretty historic.
Well, and then we heard another thing today. Something unprecedented will happen with the State of the Union tonight, and I'd like to get your opinion on this. Why do you think this is? I think it's obvious. They're going to have 2 intermission break.
I can't believe that's true.
Sean Spicer tweeted it.
I saw
that. He would know. They're going to have 2 breaks.
I can't
during the State of the Union. I can't remember what he called them. Intermissions.
Bathroom breaks?
Obviously, they're going to have 2 intermissions.
I can't believe they're going to do that.
Well, I think that's a first.
I just can't believe they're going to do that.
Well, we'll see how long it is. Well, they are. That's what Sean Spicer said. Maybe they'll change their mind. But I would think he would know above anybody that, that's his world. He's in the media.
The thing about the State of the Unions, other than the ones with Trump, I have zero interest in them. And I'll tell you why.
Nothing, all full of lies.
Nothing happens really. What State of the Union, except Trump's, I'm talking about all the other presidents, not Trump. They come out and make a bunch of promises, 99% of which never happen. And they
lie to the American people.
They tell their supporters what they want to hear. And so far, there's like a lot of discussion. How can he do the State of the Union with everything going on? Bill Clinton did a State of the Union at the height of the Lewinsky scandal. Okay. And he wasn't even doing press conferences, and people are like, oh, is he? The presidents don't have to do the State of the Union. They have to. There's a constitutional requirement that they have to report to the Congress, the State of the Union. And before television, they didn't go there and have a speech. They sent a letter. It was just done in a letter. But because of television, it's like a big TV moment, so it became this big to-do, you know? And I remember when the Lewinsky scandal, I mean, unless you lived through it, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. Sex scandal, it was huge.
Huge.
And Bill Clinton didn't do a press conference for like 2 years.
Yeah, he was afraid to leave the house.
And he didn't do any press conferences.
Yeah,
and
I don't blame him.
And the first State of the Union was coming up after the Lewinsky story had broke. And there were weeks of discussion. Will he do it? Should he do it? Can he do it?
That.
And he walked in there with his head up high like he didn't care. And he gave a State of the Union just like all the rest. It was probably one of the most watched because of the Lewinsky scandal was going on. So, you know, these presidents are without shame.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, they don't care how scummy they are, what scandals they're involved in. Yeah. They'll go in there and there's now the only thing about Biden's State of the Union that's a possibility is Tlaib and stuff are expected to protest Biden. We'll find out. But
I read that he's going to announce a lot of aid and money to Gaza.
Yes, that's right, and that's probably to stop protests. So, but the State of the Unions are not really eventful. Every once in a while, something happens like Pelosi tearing up the State of the Union, which was a federal crime.
Well, who wants to watch Biden talk for an hour? It might be worth watching to see.
I have no interest. I'm not going to watch it.
They're taking breaks, obviously, because he can't sit there and talk for an hour straight anymore. And he's got to go to the bathroom probably. Let's see how long these breaks are. If they do it, I'm going to watch just to see that. That'll be interesting.
No.
It's going to be a train wreck. It's going to be a disaster.
I will get up.
Can't miss it.
I'll get up in the morning and watch the highlights. I cannot. You know, the thing I don't like about these State of the Unions is they are the most politically partisan fake show you could possibly see.
Yeah.
No matter which party the president is, right? So if you've got a Democrat, every time he says something, the Democrats stand up and applaud, and the Republicans say. If you got a Republican president, every time he says something, the Republicans get up and applaud, and the Democrats sit down. It's such a scripted play, and it's I find it insulting that they make such a big deal about it.
It'll be fun to watch.
Now, the one
to watch him though.
The greatest State of the Union ever will be Trump's first State of the Union in his second and non-consecutive term. Because when he walks into that House chamber, you know, and after, you know, January 6th and all these impeachments and the lawfare, and he gives the State of the Union after that. When it comes time for President Trump to give his first State of the Union of his second term, you were talking about Nicole Wallace here, the Democrats are going to have meltdowns. Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, I know she's a Republican, but she might as well be a Democrat.
Yeah,
Scarborough, all these Democrats are going to have meltdowns over how can he be allowed to go there and give the State of the Union when he led an insurrection in their house. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Nobody has been charged with insurrection, but they keep going with that narrative every day, day in and day out. And it's so funny to watch CNN's election coverage, which I still think they have the best coverage of anybody. They're the quickest with the results, and they break it down, and it's fast-paced, and it's interesting. But it's so funny. Their exit polling questions crack me up. Do you think that they like to ask about the election, about Trump, what he said about it? They like to ask about the insurrection, about his court cases, all this stuff. Everything's a negative. Everything is to make Trump voters look bad, like they're overlooking all these horrible things. What they don't understand is all that's not true, first of all. It's that they believe their own BS. But they just still do not understand the problems that real people are dealing with.
No, and they don't care.
There is a movement going on in this country, and it's not just MAGA. Charlie Kirk just tweeted they were at a college campus, and a bunch of kids, like 100 or maybe more, started singing the national anthem. There is... everything's on a pendulum, everything, if it swings one way, it's going to swing back the next. And the liberals have been so radical with their anti-American woke nonsense BS that the pendulum is swinging back the other way, and it is really warms my heart to see these young people. I don't even know what if they're still in Gen Z or what this generation is, if they're now in Gen Alpha, I don't know. But these young people in college are more patriotic. They seem much more, and I think Charlie Kirk has a lot to do with this. They seem much more conservative, and I think a lot of it has to do with the ideology that has been shoved down their throat when they were in school. And then they get out in the real world and they meet other kids that think differently, and that come when I went to FSU, most of the kids were from Florida. Okay, probably 90% of the students were from other parts of Florida, but there were kids from Georgia and Texas and stuff, Louisiana. But everybody was different and had a different perspective, and it really opens your mind. And if you were at a school that was brainwashing you nonstop, and then you go to college and you meet other kids that didn't have that experience, you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to hate my country. Oh, this is a new thing for me. I think there's a new awakening with these young kids. They seem more patriotic. They seem like they're tired of this radical liberal BS that they've been spoon-fed. And I think there's a good movement, a conservative movement happening
now. I want to. I agree with you absolutely. That's why Trump's so popular. He's winning everywhere. That's why the firefighters in New York are booing Letitia James.
Oh, Trump's a big, huge part of it.
Now, I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support. Thank you so much, guys. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's lots of great perks, and there's a link to become a Patreon supporter in the description of this and every episode. Okay, and our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, and George. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Take an electrifying journey with the Continuum series from author Jenna Ryan. In Book 1, The Channeler, A Future Forewarned, Caleb Swift grapples with an extraordinary gift and the haunting visions that come with it. He felt as if he was stuck in an endless nightmare, watching a terrible future, feeling powerless to change it. Or was he? Caleb's complex life takes a turn when he's faced with the choice to embrace his supernatural abilities or live an ordinary, uncomplicated life. Can he ignore the visions and the girl who needs him? In Book 2, The Steel Renegade, A Future Unknown, Caleb confronts tragedy, secrets, and a forewarning that could alter the fate of both human and inhuman kind. He needs to become stronger, he needs to fight harder, and he'll do whatever it takes. As past, present, and future collide, the truth surfaces, uncovering a mystery where past shape a better future. If you're a fan of urban fiction, science fiction, romance, adult fiction, or young adult fiction exploring themes of magic, clairvoyance, angels, and demons, then author Jenna Ryan's Continuum series is perfect for you. Both books in the series are available on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and the author's website, JennaRyanInc.com. Order both books in the Continuum series right now from author Jenna Ryan. Awaken your senses and indulge in the rich aroma of freshly brewed perfection each and every day with the Gypsy Owl. The Gypsy Owl is your passport to a world of exceptional coffee and gourmet teas. You'll be immersed in the goodness of their organic blends. They're meticulously roasted and crafted to elevate your coffee experience beyond the ordinary. When you join the Gypsy Owl subscription service, you'll save 15% off every order. You can have your favorite brew delivered to your doorstep each and every month. You'll never run out of your daily pick-me-up. You can choose from their selection of coffee or teas. Subscribe today. Savor the joy of a freshly brewed cup, hassle-free, and at a 15% savings. And if you're a business owner, the Gypsy Owl can help you too. Whether you're a company looking for premium coffee at great prices or a restaurant seeking quality, the Gypsy Owl have you covered. If you have a large event coming up at a huge venue, no problem. The Gypsy Owl offers coffees in sizes from 12 ounces to 12 pounds. At the Gypsy Owl, Owl, quality is their priority. They roast the beans the day you order, allowing the beans to rest before locking in those exquisite flavors, ensuring that you notice the difference. Their organic coffee is 100% free from artificial substances, especially pesticides and herbicides. Order your coffee and tea right now at thegypsyowl.myshopify.com. Savor the journey, sip by sip. thegypsyowl.myshopify.com. Are you tired of the endless search for affordable contact lenses? Well, your search is over. Say hello to LoveMyContacts.com, where premium vision meets unbeatable prices. LoveMyContacts.com isn't just any contact lens retailer. Love My Contacts are powered by real optometrists and vision experts. Yes, that's right. Experts who know eyes and care about yours, ensuring you get the best fit from brands you trust, like AccuView, Bausch & Lomb, Alcon, and Cooper Vision. And guess what? With LoveMyContacts.com's easy subscription service, forget about running low on contacts ever again. Just set it, forget it, and let your lenses come to you. Don't have your prescription handy? No problem. LoveMyContacts.com will retrieve it from your doctor's office, making your experience as seamless as possible. They have the most popular contacts at the best prices too, like AccuView Oasis, the Infuse, and Dailies. It's time to experience the LoveMyContacts.com difference. Visit the site right now, LoveMyContacts.com, and step into a world where quality meets convenience at prices you'll love. LoveMyContacts.com. Are you truly living the life you've always dreamed of? Or do past traumas hold you back from achieving your fullest potential? You're not alone. Discover the support and guidance you need on the Redhead Reveal podcast with Jen Pinkerton. Jen Pinkerton is a seasoned psychotherapist, coach, and sexologist. She's on a mission to foster deeper connections in your relationships. She explores the intricate worlds of attachment, inner child work, and trauma, revealing their profound impact on our well-being and our ability to flourish. Join the movement towards healing, understanding, and thriving in your personal and professional relationships. Don't let another day pass you by, leaving you feeling disconnected. Add Redhead Reveal with Jen Pinkerton to your podcast playlist right now. Available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Your journey to a more connected and fulfilled life starts right now. Redhead Reveal on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I found out two things during the break I did not know. Carol Burnett is 90 years old and made some comments about something. I thought Carol Burnett had died years ago. I had no idea Carol Burnett was alive. Mm-hmm. Did you?
Yeah, I did know that.
You did not? I thought Carol Burnett was dead. And then Steve Lawrence has died at age 88. I thought Steve Lawrence had died a long time ago, too.
I always liked him.
I'm shocked that
he's a great singer.
They were both alive.
Steve and Edie. I think Edie's still, I don't know, is Edie still alive?
I don't know.
He was always a great singer, and I remember in the 80s and stuff, he was on a lot of shows. He did some acting.
Yeah, I like both. I like both of them.
I like his Christmas album and Carol Burnett's.
Yeah.
But she's still alive. But yeah, he just died today, Steve Lawrence.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a great singer.
Now, Whoopi Goldberg today on the View, I've read about this. I have not played I'll just read this to you. I don't want to hear their voices. But listen to this. She on the View today, she said that the last relationship she was in was with a man 40 years older than her. Now, she's 68 years old. She didn't date a man that was 108, did she? When was this relationship? The 68-year-old Sister Act star let a recent romantic rendezvous slip.
Let's say she was 50
during a heated panel discussion.
So he was 90.
Yeah, about the backlash over the age difference between Anne Hathaway.
That's just gross.
And her relationship in her new film. Whoopi confessed age is no concern to her when embarking on a relationship, revealing her multi-decade age difference love affair. She says 12 years is not that bad. Sarah Hines said during the segment, and then they were talking about that. She said, I dated a guy that was 18 years older than me, she continued. Joy Behar, who tied the knot to her long-term partner in 2011 after almost 30 years of dating, declared she likes them younger, her husband 7 years her junior. After pointing out that Sarah and Sonny Hostin were also married to younger men, the question was posed to Whoopi, who admitted she's dated both younger and older men. She says, I go from here to there, gesturing and with an expansive age with her arms. Your age is not what's going to get me into your arms. Well, who wants Whoopi in their arms?
Obviously a 90-year-old man.
Yeah. So where's the part? She said, I had just have to say this. One of the last relationships I had, he was 40 years older than me. One of her last relationships. And then Joy Behar said, 40? Is he still alive? And Whoopi said yes.
Well, then obviously that's not true.
She didn't say who it was.
So he's 103. She's 63.
He would have to be 108.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
So did she make up the whole story? Did
Probably.
Whoopi Goldberg make up the whole story?
For me personally, now you're a year younger than I am. For me personally, if I was dating now, okay, I would have like probably a 5-year rule. 5 years younger, 5 years older, that's about it. For me personally, and I know there's probably people in the audience that have spouses or partners that are a lot younger, a lot older, that's fine for you. But I would not want to be with somebody that was from a different generation. I've seen it in some relationships, and it's a problem. I like the fact that Brian and I grew up in the same time period, in the same town. We reference a lot of the same things. We went to a lot of the same places in high school, knew some of the same people.
Yeah.
And we like the same music mostly. We've been watching reruns of Chips and The Love Boat and Murder, She Wrote and other old shows. If I was married to some guy that was in his 60s, he would be wanting to watch reruns of like I Love Lucy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like Lucy, but Brian and I have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similar experiences, I should say. And just the fact that we both grew up in the 70s, we had very similar childhoods. We both are children of divorce. We both were raised by single mothers. So there's that. There's a lot of commonality for us that we can relate to each other on a different level. I mean, on the same level. Now, I know people that have a huge age gap in their marriage, and there's a lot of problems because...
Especially when you get old.
Yes, because they're from different generations. And you do change a lot. Generations do change. I cannot imagine if I was single, I'm 53, and if for some reason some 35-year-old guy was interested in me, I would just feel weird. I would feel like I'd have nothing in common with this guy other than the physical. That's the only thing I think that connects these relationships is the physicalness. But I could be wrong, but it's just not for me. I mean, I think it's better to have somebody close to your own age.
Yeah, now I want so Whoopi Goldberg, Whoopi Goldberg
40 years,
has to be lying. She said he's still alive, so he's 100.
Yeah, I think she's full of crap.
108. I don't believe that.
Yeah, no.
You know, what is she like?
Like in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Like Anna Nicole Smith, remember that? She had that,
Oh my God, yeah. There's a relationship that was definitely based on money and sex.
Oh, no. Truly. Now, I wanted to talk. I did a YouTube.
JP Marshall.
I did a YouTube video this morning before I left for the radio station from the car out in the driveway of our house, and I was talking about a lot of important things. And I was talking about my health a little bit, so I wanted to just talk about that for a minute. And what I was talking about was a couple things. This presidential election year is more important than anybody realizes, because if Trump is not reelected in November, our country as we know it will no longer exist. And it's so far gone now, and things are happening at such a rapid rate. Without Trump back in November, it's done.
You wanted to play that ad.
Yeah, I will. I will in a minute.
Pertinent
I will
to
in
that.
a few minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to end with that. And, because of my schedule, everything I do, and I do 2 shows a day and all that stuff, the presidential election year, this time and last time, have been very stressful. And in the last presidential election year, it was so stressful for me. My blood pressure went through the roof. I started taking blood pressure medication for the first time in my life, I no longer take blood pressure medication. My blood pressure has been normal.
Yeah.
But I tell you, my stress level during the last election season, the 4 years ago, not the midterms, was so high, I thought I was going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like really, really nervous. And I've noticed in the last few weeks, because this election's getting heated up, I'm getting like really stressed.
Really?
And this morning when I was doing my show prep, I didn't want to take my blood pressure because I was afraid it was going to be high before I start. And when I'm on the air, no matter what, you're gonna have, when you're doing a show, you're gonna have your blood pressure is going to go up.
You definitely don't want to take it when you're really stressed out.
No. And
I've learned that the hard way.
I like felt like this morning like something was off. Like I think my blood pressure is high.
We can take
today.
it right now.
I don't want to take it right now.
All right.
I don't want to take it.
We'll take it after the show, and I'll keep an eye on it.
But my blood pressure does go up during these Trump presidential election seasons, and it's not because I just get obsessed over it. It's because how important this election is. The stakes are so high. Yeah. They're so high.
You got to be like Trump. He's cool as a cucumber. And you always tell this to Steve. Trump doesn't seem worried, so don't worry. And I know the stakes are high, but there's some things that are just out of your control and out of our control. And you have to trust God and know. I mean, the way things are going now, I feel very positive about everything.
Yeah,
because like I said, there seems to be this more conservative wave with the young people, and everything's working out for Trump because he's persevering. And the Bible says when you persevere, it builds character.
Yeah.
And that's true. And you gain perspective, which I think Trump has gained a lot of perspective over these last 4 or 5 years. True, we all have. And I think that's only a good thing. So I'm positive. I mean, look at what happened Tuesday. I mean, it was a bloodbath with Nikki. I watched it. I couldn't believe she did win Vermont. You told me because that came in very late. I went to bed.
Yeah, she won Vermont,
but there was neck and neck. At one point, he was ahead by one vote. It was crazy.
But the thing about that is
everything's working out for him.
Vermont's a crossover, so she got a huge Democrat vote.
Yeah,
Bernie
so she
Sanders
can become the governor of Vermont.
Bernie Sanders probably voted for Nikki Haley on Tuesday
exactly.
in Vermont.
And you got to understand when the fact that she had mostly Democrats voting for her win, any votes she got are false. They're false.
You can't count Democrats.
They shouldn't even be allowed to vote in our primaries. It's ridiculous. But everything's going great for Trump. Mm-hmm. You know, look at Letitia James got booed.
Oh, that was great.
And Fannie Willis. And then the case with the documents here in Fort Pierce, that judge is going to put that, she's going to put that off forever. She's a MAGA judge.
Yeah.
Everything is working out. The only one I worry about is the one with Jack Smith. Because I think that's got that, but even
he's going to get presidential immunity from the Supreme Court, and then that'll go away.
They're going to start hearing that case. I think they said April 25th. The Supreme Court is going to start hearing that case, which look at that went in his favor 9-0.
Yep.
With the Colorado, and the liberal media didn't even know where to go with that.
Nope.
They had some people like Keith Olbermann, who cares about him, how the Supreme Court has been such a disappointment and this and that. Well, maybe they just are right, and maybe you're just a jerk, and you just have Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, he's just a lunatic. He's so desperate to get back on TV.
Yeah, but the stakes are that
they are high, but everything's coming up roses.
They are that high.
They are.
And on election night, I don't think I'll be able to. I won't be able to handle it. I'm going to have to go to sleep and wake up to the good news.
You have to try to stay up because it's going to be exciting.
I can't stand the suspense.
It's going to be good. Boy, I tell you, I remember in 2016, you went to bed and I stayed up, and I was on Periscope the whole night with a whole bunch of people and staying up with them until you got up to go to work. I was up till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most exciting nights I've ever experienced. It was so exciting.
Not for Hillary Clinton, no.
After another.
Not for those girls at the Javits Center. Wasn't exciting for them.
To watch the liberal meltdown, and then to have that guy come out for Hillary. She couldn't even come out and face that crowd. They had that huge. They were in that huge.
But you know what, Kathy?
With the fake glass ceiling thing.
That's what happened with Nikki Haley on Super Tuesday. She was so devastated she couldn't come out. She had to wait till the next day.
She actually believed she was going to win something. I mean, are these people this deluded?
Nikki Haley had happened to her what happened to Hillary. She had a breakdown. Yeah. They all told her to drop out. She couldn't do it.
Maybe it's a woman thing.
And maybe women shouldn't be president.
I mean, maybe I hate to say it, but has a man ever done that? Has a man ever not been able to come out and say and make a speech?
Not that I know of.
Well, maybe the women are too
So let me play this ad. This is a new ad. It's a Trump PAC ad.
Yeah, this is good.
It's a good one.
I guess I should clear my mind here a little bit.
We can all see Joe Biden's weakness. If Biden wins, can he even survive till 2029? The real question is, can we? Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I love the cackling Kamala, Willie Brown's girlfriend. You know,
that's a scary ad.
Joe
true.
Biden's a terrible person. Yeah. When he was younger, he was worse. He was a nasty man when he was with it in the Senate. Nasty. He had the worst hair transplants you've ever seen, and he had those hair transplants, the plugs.
He's always been rude to people and nasty. And remember when he was lying about his graduating top of the class in law school, he was talking to that guy and he was like in his face, and you want to compare transcripts, and he's always been a jerk.
Yeah, he was always. But with all that being said, what's going on with him now? You hear how he is there. It's elder abuse, and everyone at the White House is guilty of it. Elder abuse,
well, especially his wife.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, we're out of time for today. We will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.